You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, so let's go over Justus Ross-Simmons first. For those that may not know, he is a junior wide receiver and a Colorado State transfer from this offseason. Last year, he had 45 catches for over 700 yards and 3 touchdowns, which culminated in an All-Mountain West honorable mention selection last season. This was a big-time get for Syracuse football in the transfer portal. All right, he committed after the spring game. It was the second window of the portal, so we didn't get to see him in that one. I was kind of bummed about it, even because they were rumored at that time to be getting him, and I was hoping that it would be before the spring game, but it ended up being about a week after it. Regardless, this was a big-time get for Syracuse when they got him in late April. They had to beat out programs like Florida, Alabama, Florida State, and I know that those programs have had varying degrees of success this season, but those are still 3 big-time programs in college football. And they had to beat out those schools for this kid. So obviously, he is very, very talented. Fran Brown mentioned in the press conference heading into this week against NC State that getting him back in the lineup is like, in NFL terms, getting a big free agent back. Like, you sign a free agent in the offseason, he's been injured for you, but now he's here. He's back, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys who root for whatever your favorite NFL teams have had that before. It would be like, it's not exactly apples to apples, but I'm a New York Jets fan, sadly. They got Hassan Reddick in a trade this offseason. If it were to be announced like right now at this very moment that he is coming back and he's actually going to play, I know that's not injury related though, that would be amazing news. It would be great. It would be terrific. Again, that's a whole separate conversation to what it is with Justus Ross-Simmons. For him, it's been injury. But you get the idea. In NFL terms, it's like getting a big free agent in your lineup. And Fran Brown also said, quote, it's like he's off the PUP list, which is physically unable to perform, and he's ready to go. He is ready to be unleashed for Syracuse football against NC State, according to Fran Brown. This is why it is so big for Syracuse that they are getting him back, all right? First of all, he was expected to be a big-time contributor for the Orange. He was. I was calling him before the year in training camp. He's this team's number 2 wide receiver right behind Zede Haynes. Those are the 2 top receivers. However, he's been dealing with a nagging hamstring injury for a while, right? For the end of training camp, it bled into the regular season. Justus Ross-Simmons' first game back was actually against Stanford, but he played limited reps in that one. Barely played at all. I don't even think he got a target. And then he missed the Holy Cross game. He came back last week against UNLV, but again, you barely saw him on the field. They ran almost 100 plays, and I don't even think he played a 10th of them. So he barely played, and that is because they have been easing him back from this hamstring injury, I think. I don't know if him missing Holy Cross was due to the hamstring injury or it was something else. But regardless, they've clearly been easing him back the last few weeks. And now it is time for him to be unleashed. And again, why is this so important? Folks, we are entering the meat and potatoes of this schedule for Syracuse football. This is it. This is it. This team is in good position now. They have bounced back from the Stanford loss, right? When they were 2-1, and even when they were 3-1, because they didn't look good against Holy Cross, I was like, I don't know if this team can contend for the ACC anymore. You're just hoping that they can have a good regular season. Well, you beat UNLV, a ranked team on the road. You got NC State on the road this week. They're favored to win that game, but it's not going to be easy. I'm just pointing out that they're favored. And then the following week, they're playing a ranked team on the road again in Pitt. And I know Pitt has looked very good this season, but hey, I'm not saying I'm going to take Syracuse right now. We still have a little ways to go for that one, but I don't think that game is not. I think it's winnable. Like, I think they can win at Pitt. We're not asking this team to go into Georgia and win a game. We're asking them to go into Pitt. It's kind of like how going into UNLV. Yeah, they'll be underdogs in that one, but they can win that game. And when you get Justus Ross, you need all hands on deck for the meat and potatoes of the schedule. The passing offense has been very good this season. In fact, it's been record-breaking for Syracuse football. It's been record-breaking. Kyle McCord is on pace to throw for over 40 touchdowns in the regular season alone. And that would shatter the record right now, which I believe is held by Ryan Nassib with 25 or 26. Someone fact-check me on that. Right, he's having a record-breaking year. So clearly the passing offense is fine, but you need all hands on deck right now. And this is someone who can really, really help you. He can. It gives this team another weapon. Have you ever been like, oh, we have too many weapons on a team? It's like saying you have too many pass rushers. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as having enough weapons. Okay, they have Aronde Getz and they have Trevor Pena. Zeed Haynes is still out with personal reasons, and I hope everything's okay on that front. We don't have an update on that. Jackson Meeks has looked really good, and you got LaQuinn Allen out of the backfield. You got Amari Hatcher as well. But another outside threat in Justus Ross-Simmons, I think could really help this team. I think it can. He's very good at working underneath, and he can also take the top off the defense. At times when he's running his routes, honestly, it looks like he's not putting in any effort, but it's not because he's not putting in any effort. It's that he's making it look effortless. If you go watch his highlights, very, very smooth when you watch him play. So I'm excited. I'm very curious to see how often he plays against NC State and how often he gets targeted against NC State. Because again, we're in the meat and potatoes of the schedule now. All hands on deck. If Syracuse, again, I'm kind of teasing the Poll Friday episode. If Syracuse wants to be a contender, you need pretty much everyone to be a full go. And Justus Ross-Simmons, it appears, is going to be a full go finally this week for Syracuse football. He's played very limited 2 of the past 3 weeks. It's time for Justus Ross-Simmons to be unleashed.